not the best for me. All right, well, it's pretty much time to get started. So let's just jump right in. There's still a few more spaces left before we hit 100. So it's pretty full, but we might have to leave a few people out. Okay, so you can all see my screen, all right, can't you? That's good. Okay, so this, as you know, this webinar is about getting referrals for your photography business. As you know, referrals are a big part of all really successful photography businesses, no matter if it's, you know, wedding photography, portrait photography, anything, even if you are running a photography studio. Referrals are a very important part of it because, you know, there's really no advertising cost to referrals, and if you've got a good system for bringing them in, your business can sort of just perpetually grow and expand, you know, at a very good rate. So my name's Dane Bergen. If you don't already know, you probably know me from my Facebook page, which is Photography Business Riches, or my website. And yeah, I help photographers to get more business in their business, get more clients. So let's jump right into this stuff here. Referrals are extremely important no matter what type of photography you do. Whether it's client-based like weddings and portraits, which is what the majority of people I work with do, weddings, portraits, the sort of photography where you're dealing with customers and the client comes to you wanting a certain result and that's what you provide. But referrals are also important if you're in the type of photography where you are selling your art. You're selling prints, canvases, no matter what it is. You know, if you're a fine art photographer or a landscape photographer, either way, referrals are a huge part of it. You probably already know, if you know any really successful photographers already, you'll know that they've got a lot of referrals coming in, and it's not just because they're so good either. And a lot of photographers get caught up in the whole concept of, if my work's good enough, I'll get a ton of referrals. And that's cool, like that's really good. But it's not the best way to build up your business. Like, obviously, if your work is really, really good, you'll get referrals from that. But there's better ways to get more referrals. Being good is only going to get you so far. It's kind of like, I can't think of a good analogy, but I'm sure you all know a lot of really good photographers. You may even be that really good, you know, super, super good photographer, but they can't seem to, you know, string a few jobs together. They can't seem to turn it into a lucrative business. They're sort of working part-time, doing one thing, doing photography on the side, and their photography skills are amazing, yet they can't, you know, they can't turn it into a business. They can't get the clients, or they can't sell the prints. And that's where, you know, that's where the really successful photography businesses are separated from, you know, the sort of the amateurs, the hobbyists. It's in getting the business going and getting the referrals. Referrals is, as I said, one of the most important parts of your business. So tonight I'm going to give you some ideas that will boost your referral rate almost immediately. Like, as you know, it takes time for people, you know, you work with your clients, you get them to refer, and then it takes a little bit of time for the referrals to turn into paying jobs. But the strategies I'll share with you tonight will, you know, help you grow within the next month, build your business up even bigger, no matter if you're already doing very well with a lot of clients or if you're just trying to get started out. These same ideas can be molded to your specific business. Okay, so the first thing is referral cards. I'm not sure if you know what referral cards are or if you've used referral cards or anything like that, but what I've sort of drawn up really quickly here is a referral card, and obviously they're really cheap to make. It's just print them out on some card. They don't have to look that fancy or anything. But the idea is to get clients to write down the names of friends or family or anyone who they know who might be interested in your specific type of photography. So usually the way people do referral cards is they just have this section down here, and the headline here might be something like, it might even just say referral card. It really doesn't help the case at all. So their referral cards are really boring. It gives the client no reason to refer people. To get people to do anything, you have to, they have to get something out of it. It can't just be something like, I would really love it if you referred some friends, because people don't really care. Unless they're, a super great client and they really love you and they sort of, you get those sort of clients every now and again where they'll bend over backwards just to help you out, and that's amazing. But you want to get the majority of your clients referring, not just those raving fans. So what you want to do is, up the top, instead of just putting something like referral card or send me a referral or something like that, you want to think of a headline that grabs their attention, something that something that will make them want to refer a bit, something to just draw them into the body copy, which is what you've got underneath. So it's something to think about yourself, but it depends what type of photographer you are, but something that sort of grabs people. It's not going to be as important as in the usual type of advertising I teach, such as on your website or in your Yellow Pages ad or anything like that, because those ads really have to grab people when they're not sort of searching for what you're offering. These cards you're obviously giving to people who are already clients, and you've got the opportunity to say a few words to them while you do it. But underneath your headline, you want to have the reason why referrals really help you out. And you sort of have to, with this, you sort of have to play to their, play on their emotions and on their sympathetic side. What I recommend is just explaining to your clients that advertising is really expensive and it's really difficult for you to compete with those big guys who are spending tens of thousands on advertising, blah, 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 that sort of thing. The only way you can compete is by being a great photographer who offers great service, great customer support, and the way you get your business is through referrals because of how good you are and how you go above and beyond what those bigger companies do. So you have to sort of take the angle of, I can't afford that really expensive advertising, but the way I can compete is by giving better service, better quality, and that's why I really would, and you've seen that, and that's why I'd really love a referral. After that, you explain what they get for each referral. Now, if you've been following my stuff, you may have read some articles on referral rewards, which is obviously, just a reward for anyone who refers. So anyone who sends you a referral or gives you a name and number or whatever it may be, and that person turns into a new client, the referrer should be given a reward, and you should tell them what that reward will be beforehand. So it can be anything. I think I talk about that in the next slide. So just going over this again really quickly, you've got your headline, your reason why referrals really help you out, and what they get for each referral, followed by some space for names and contact details, whether it be a phone number, a mailing address or an email. Phone number's good, but you don't want to, you know, come across as hassling people. People don't want to give out phone numbers because they think they're going to get telesales, people calling them up every day trying to force them to book in for something they don't really want. So email is good. Mailing address is really good because, you know, people don't get a lot of personal mail in the mail anymore. It's just bills, you know, pretty much just bills and advertising stuff from credit card companies or whatever it may be. But if you're sending a personal letter, that they can work really well. So I'd go for, you know, the email address or the mailing address. Get the phone number if you can. That's really great. But definitely don't be hassling people. And if you are going for the phone number, tell the client up front. Say, like, I know you're probably hesitant to give out any phone numbers, but I hate telemarketers as much as everyone else. I'm not going to be hassling anyone. I just really want to help out people, you know, your friends and family, to have, you know, my services, great photography. Okay, so moving on. As I was saying, you've got to have a reason for clients to refer. So like when we were talking about the rewards they get, you can have it as being things. These are just a couple of ideas here. You can get creative with this. A lot of people get really, you know, think of some really amazing ideas. And again, it depends on what type of photography you do. These specific ideas here are mainly for photographers who sell, you know, their services to clients, not photographers who sell, you know, the actual art like prints and that sort of thing. So you can tailor these to your own business, but first I've just written free photo shoot. Now, again, that depends what type of photographer you are. You're not going to be giving away free wedding photo shoots or anything, obviously, but if you're a portrait photographer, you could offer, you know, a free, some sort of smaller photography package that includes just, you know, a few edited photos on a disc for every client who books in a job over X amount of dollars. You want to make these rewards really good. You don't want to. You know how you see those companies, or you get those offers sometimes that are like, it'll be for a massage or something, and it's like, oh, a good one I got the other day was from my physiotherapist, and a session with the physio I go to costs $75. It's quite expensive, but he sent out a gift certificate in the mail that was something like get $5 off or something like that. It was really sort of an insignificant amount of money where I'd be kind of too embarrassed to even take the certificate in to redeem my $5 off my $75 physio session. So you want to make it a good enough offer that people actually want to take the time to, you know, do this favor for you. So the free photo shoot, you're going to want it to be of a decent value or a decent perceived value. So if your sort of lowest photography, your lowest portrait package is $50, and their friend books in, say, a $300 family shoot, you could give them that, like the $50 shoot. Don't come off as being stingy with it. Okay, secondly, I've got money offer shoot. So this is more for things like wedding photography, portrait photography, and everything else as well. You can use it just fine. But an idea for wedding photographers is, you know, let's say your shoot is $2,000 and a client, you know, usually you get clients quite a bit ahead of time. So you may have the client, you know, 6 months ahead of time, and you could tell her, usually it's her because the men often don't have too much to do with the photographer, but you would tell her something like, for anyone you can refer me who books in a job at this price or over, I'll give you X amount off your wedding photo shoot. So it might be for anyone who books in a wedding over $2,000 or something like that, I'll give you $200 off your wedding. So if you can somehow refer me 8 people, your shoot will be free. And it's thinking about it, it seems horrible to be doing a free photo shoot, but that person would have brought you in 8 new clients who you wouldn't have had anyway. And it's not impossible for them to get that many referrals either, because a lot of these women are in wedding forums, bridal forums and that sort of thing, and they have a presence there, they've got a sort of authority, and they can refer good photographers to people in the forum. So that's another idea. The last little idea I've put here is bonus canvases or prints. Now everyone loves, having a canvas or a print, whatever media it may be on. It doesn't matter if you're doing, portraits or weddings or whatever. People love having these bonuses thrown in, like a bonus, whatever size canvas for if you bring in X amount of clients who spend X amount of dollars, that sort of thing. So these are just ideas you can tailor to your business. Other smaller incentives are these ones are more suited to portrait photographers, or mainly sort of portrait photographers, just because there's such a large spectrum of portrait photography, isn't there? So these are lower value ones around the $20 to $50 range. And we've got gift cards, movie tickets to the Gold Class Cinema. They do really well for my clients. Tickets to shows, if you know that they're interested in shows, massages, restaurants, anything like that. If you're doing restaurants, however, just a warning, make sure you're giving certificates or gift cards that cater for restaurants that cater to all types of people. You don't want to be sending a vegetarian a gift card to a steakhouse, because that can be quite offensive, and it's happened before. Okay, so the last one's cash. That's an easy one. Everyone loves having cash. So, it's better, as I said, for wedding photographers where there's a higher value. You can offer a higher amount of cash. For portrait shoots, you're not going to be able to afford to give away as much because, the value is lower. So those are just a few ideas. With the, what was I going to say? I just lost my train of thought. Something about the cash. No, I might come back to it if I think of it. Okay, so my next tip is we've gone through so far the referral cards, the incentives, the rewards you give the clients. Now is making people who do refer feel really special. This is something barely any photographers or, quite frankly, people in any industry are doing, is making people feel really special. A few people do have the idea of giving rewards to people who refer, but not many go so far as to make those referrers feel really special. So if you think about it, the first referral is the hardest to give. After that, each one is easier, but more people never make a second referral because they got nothing from giving the first, apart from often just a simple thank you. If you think about it, pretend it's you and you're going to give a referral for, let's say, your hairdresser. You go to a hairdresser and they're really good, and they ask you for a referral, and you say, yeah, okay, I'll tell a few of my friends. And you do tell your friends, and a couple of friends go in and they get their hair cut, and the hairdresser knows that you sent those people, and either you don't get any recognition for it, it just never gets mentioned. So the hairdresser has these new clients. They get this extra source of income which they would never have had before if it weren't for you. They've got these new ongoing clients, which is a big asset, and they've either ignored you or alternatively what most people actually do is, the next time they see you, they'll say, oh, thanks for sending Jim over or whatever. And it kind of feels like you've been backstabbed a little bit, doesn't it? Because you've gone out of your way to help them and you've got nothing in return. You kind of feel like you've been used almost. So you've given them that referral, you've got nothing back. The chances of you referring again are pretty much zero because, that's the kind of treatment you're going to get. Why would you do it again? There's absolutely no reason. Okay, I'm just checking time. Yeah, I'm going okay. What you have to do is make the person who refers feel really special, like they've done this huge favor to you, which they have. Every referral is a huge favor. It's something a person didn't have to do, but they did anyway, and it really helps your business grow. It's like word of mouth marketing. So a few ideas here I've got, and again, you can be creative with this stuff, tailor it to fit your business. But first is the handwritten letter. Okay, so when's the last time you got a handwritten letter? Probably a long time ago. For me, I don't think I've ever gotten one. Writing handwritten letters to your clients shows them that you really care, that you really, that you really, really, really appreciate their time. You didn't just sit down on a computer and type up a quick 3-minute letter and email it to them or print it out and hand it to them. You sat down at a table with a pen and paper, you wrote this thing out, and, people really appreciate that. They love it. From the clients I work with, my private coaching clients, they say that when they're, when they send out these letters, they often get phone calls from clients who are, almost in tears because of, how special it is to them. A handwritten letter. And I do get my clients to go into some detail about, how great it was working with them and that sort of thing. But as long as it's handwritten, you can't really go wrong. The second one is a personal thank you phone call. Now, this is more powerful than just the in-person, the next time you see them, thanks for the referral. Giving them a call to say, thank you, that referral really means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. That the reward I was telling you about, that gift that I give to any referrers I get, that's on its way. It's getting sent out in the mail, or I can drop it over to you this afternoon, or whatever. A personal thank you call really works wonders as well. Next, we've got the personalized gift. So this is a little bit more tricky, but if you know your clients well, such as if you're a wedding photographer, I always come back to that. Sorry for anyone who's not, but you can sort of tailor these ideas. If you know your client well enough, where you know their hobbies or their interests, or you know at least something about them, you can personalize your gift to them. And this would be a secret gift, something that not something, that you tell them you're going to give them. This is after they've given the referral. You give them this extra gift, something that they weren't expecting. It's always the things that people don't expect that they appreciate most. And even if the value of these gifts is a lot less than of the gift you told them you would get them. For example, today is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. But I've sort of got this theory about Valentine's Day, which I know not everyone's going to agree with. But if you think about it, Valentine's Day is the day that all the guys sort of go out and get their girlfriend or wife or fiance or love interest, a bunch of roses, and maybe some chocolates. And the female is usually expecting it, or she's expecting something. So it's less important. So what I do personally with my girlfriend is I don't get her flowers on Valentine's Day, but I'll get her flowers on different days throughout the year where she's not expecting them at all. I get them for her for nothing, just out of the blue, and it is a much bigger surprise and it's much more appreciated than if I had done it on Valentine's Day. So that's a little love tip for anyone out there who cares, but it's the same thing with these personalized gifts. So if I've got here just a couple of examples, if you know your client is really into her dog and she's got a little Pekingese or something, or a little pug, you could buy some dog clothes and give them to her. That's a really, thoughtful gift. If you know your client is into a certain band or really enjoys music festivals, you could get tickets to that band to see the band play at a concert. Things like that. Obviously, this is a really personal one. Everyone's into different things. You might have a client who's really into fishing, and you could get something related to fishing, or something related to golf, or whatever it may be. Any hobby, any interest, it can be anything. Now, the last thing I've got here is public recognition. People never get recognized for doing good things. Just here's another example. Think about when you, I don't know, this example's a little bit off topic and it doesn't match perfectly, but it kind of works. Think about if you found a wallet on the side of the road and it had $50 in it, and you handed it in or you saw the person drop it and you picked it up and handed it to them, and they sort of just grabbed it and walked away. If that happened to you more than once, maybe 2 or 3 times, you would start to think twice about giving the wallet back, because what's the point? The person doesn't care. They didn't thank me or whatever. But if that person, which I think most people would do this if you handed them their wallet, if they said, "Oh my God, thank you so much," and gave you a big smile, and you could tell they really appreciated it, the next time you saw that happen, you would go out of your way to grab the wallet and chase after the person and give it back to them. It's the same. Well, it's not the same. It's a similar thing with giving public recognition to anyone who refers you. So you can do it in your newsletter if you have a newsletter, which you should, either an e-newsletter or a physical newsletter that goes to their mailbox, or on a website like Facebook, or even on your blog. If you've got a blog on your website, which you should have one of those as well. In any of these mediums, you could just have a small section about people who have referred this month, or my best clients, or something like this, just a headline, and then mention the person's name. You can put a little photo of them in if you like, and say who they referred, or you can say what type of photography you did for them. So it could be like, thanks to Sharon, whose wedding I'm shooting later this year, who's already referred me 2 clients this year. Thanks so much, Sharon. You're really helping my business, blah, blah, blah. Just a little bit to publicly recognize these people who are helping you out. And if you do these sort of things, it makes it more likely that people are going to refer you again. So they're not going to just refer you once and then that's it. They're going to, if they get all these great feelings for referring you, they get a gift, they get public recognition, they get special thank you phone calls and letters. It just makes them feel really good, and people don't get a chance to feel really good these days. So they're going to, from now on, go actually out of their way to give you referrals, instead of sort of, them knowing someone who definitely wants a photographer and they tell that person. They're going to tell anyone who they think may want a photographer, because they know that if they can send you these new clients, they're going to get all these gifts and good feelings. So, it just helps people to do it again and again. Now the last thing, I think this is the last thing, I can't see ahead on my slides, so forgive me if I'm wrong, but in this one I talk about ensuring everyone knows about your referral program. Now, there's no point in having a referral program if nobody knows about it, so tell them every chance you get. As I say here, mention it to clients multiple times and make sure they know what they get for each referral. Don't just tell people once, because if you're like me, you're probably half the time you're not paying attention, or your mind's thinking about something else, or you just don't quite grab things the first time. So mention it a few times. If you're seeing a client a couple of times, mention it to them a few times. If you give them a pack to take home, which you should, which is kind of like if you've got a take-home pack, which has, I go into it in my course. I don't really have time to get into it here, but you should include a sheet that explains the referral program and what you're giving them and why you love referrals, which is what we talked about right at the start of this webinar. Okay, so if you collect email addresses or just physical addresses and send past clients a monthly newsletter, include a referral section that explains what they get for each referral. So you can have another section in that newsletter talking about what people get so that they don't forget. And, the main goal is just to keep the idea of giving you referrals in their minds. If you tell someone once and they go away and they don't hear from you again for 6 months, then you're definitely not getting another referral from them. If you tell them once when you've got their job, and then you tell them again when you give them the edited product, and you tell them again a month later when you ring them up to ask them how things are going, and then you tell them again each month when you send out your newsletter, it's going to stay in the top of their minds, so that when those opportunities come up to refer, they're going to have, they're going to remember you, and they're going to give you more referrals. So that's pretty much what I've got about referrals. As you can sort of tell, I had to skip over a few things because there's so much, and it sort of ties into a lot of the other marketing things I teach. But if you want more of these powerful business building ideas, stick around for just a couple more minutes. I've got a little bonus for you just on the next slide. So you probably already know about my marketing systems. I talk about them a fair bit. I've got 2 at the moment, and I'm working on another, which I won't talk about yet. But the first is Portrait Photography Profits, which is for all types of photographers, no matter, if you do newborns, maternity, boudoir, pets, anything, any type of portrait photography. There's a wide range. This covers the marketing for you. There's a ton of ideas in there. My clients are getting really good results with this stuff. And if you're a wedding photographer, there's a course more specific for you. It's called Wedding Photography Profits. It's a similar course to Portrait Photography Profits, but with a few key ideas that are just for wedding photographers, and they work really well. For my private coaching clients, I trialed some of these really crazy strategies out, and they worked gangbusters like crazy. The courses are very similar. I call them my tier 1 courses, my tier 1 marketing courses. So you're going to want to get only one of those. Choose which one is better for you, but you only really want one. And you may know about my crazy pricing structure that I've been doing for a couple of weeks now. It's just $1 for the first month, because I don't want you to have to pay for it until you know that this stuff works, until you know that it gets the results I talk about. So it's $1 for the first month, and then 2 payments of just $47 at 1 month intervals. So you can sort of pay those extra payments when you're making more money. You can use your profits to pay for those extra payments. But on the next slide, this is the little bonus for everyone on the webinar. For a while now, I've been working on a search engine optimization course for photography businesses. And if you don't know what search engine optimization is, it's getting your website ranked #1 in the search engines in your area. So when people search for your type of photography in your area, your site will show up #1. I've been working on this for a while, and it's a video course where you can look over my shoulder on my screen. It goes for about 3 or 4 hours, and it shows you exactly what I do to get high rankings for my websites and for my clients' websites. So if you, in the next 12 hours, this offer is only going for the next 12 hours. It's just for people on this webinar. If you place your order for either my portrait photography profit system or my wedding photography profit system, you'll get this course as a thank you. It'll be free. You just send me an email with your transaction number, and I'll send you the login details for the SEO course, which is search engine optimization. It hasn't launched yet, and it's probably not going to launch for a couple weeks, but I need people to get in there and test it out and see that it works and give me some testimonials so that when I do launch it, I can say it's worked for all these photographers and, blah, blah, blah. It'll be launching at $67, and that's pretty much all you need to know. It'll help you get to #1 in the search engines, launching at $67 in a couple of weeks. But if you order one of my Tier 1 courses in the next 12 hours, I will include it for free. So, you won't have to pay for it at all. When it launches, you won't have to pay anything. It'll just be, it's free for you, but I sort of want you to be a tester of it and give me a testimonial after a few weeks when this stuff's working for you. Swing me a testimonial. I'll put it on my website, and we can show other people that this stuff really works. Just email the transaction number of either portrait photography profits or wedding photography profits to this email here, my email, which is dane@photographybusinessriches.com, and I'll send you the information access to the members area, and you can dig into my main marketing course and my search engine optimization course, which isn't even out yet, and you can get started on that within the next few hours. So make sure you order within the next 12 hours, because that's when I'm going to be taking these, offering this free. I guess it's it's not really a giveaway. I don't know what to call it, but just make sure you order within the next 12 hours. Don't tell anyone else about this offer, because it's really just for webinar attendees. So yeah, thanks for attending. I hope I covered some stuff that really you can use in your business. I'm sure a lot of you, this will be new information to you. But yeah, just make sure you use this stuff, and get on my Facebook page. Tell everyone how good the webinar was, and I will talk to you later in the week. All right, guys. See you later. Have a good night or a good day. Cheers.